we don't necessarily need to act in alignment with the philosophy that everything's whole and complete, even though everything is whole and complete.
Right. Yeah.
Realize that there is no such thing as good, there is no such thing as bad. Everything really is just being, everything is just neutrality, but there still is a place where there is a seeker, right? But it's just a realization rather than something that you actually live your life by. I think when a lot of people get into non-duality, even though it's not a philosophy, it's not a teaching like you always say, I think a lot of people get caught in that trap and they can get into that kind of depressive state that I was in.
Well, I mean, depression can arise too of just when belief systems are being strong. Like, oh yeah, shit, sure. What I was believing for so long wasn't actually truth with a capital T. And what we're saying is morality and ethics and preferences and all those types of things obviously can appear. It's the need for morality, the need for ethics, the need for code is what drops. So if the character likes to pick up trash and bake goodies for their neighbor, that continues on because that's just innate to the character. Like a sloth moves slow and a cheetah runs fast. It's just innate to the character. Now some characters are assholes and those still appear. And that's also oneness. And we don't have to like the assholes. Like that's the joy of this message is already there's no chooser or doer. So the innate personality or morality or code of ethics that seems to arise, it's just the mystery appearing as that. What drops is the need, the attachment, the codependency. Hey, Cal.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Can you hear me all right or no?
Totally. You're good.
Yeah, no,
You're crystal clear. Yeah.
I remember when I first came across your content, I was very much in the dogmatic belief systems of spirituality and not so much religion, just about this lifestyle of progression, always achieving standards, always achieving goals, always chasing things. And then when I remember I saw your video for the first time, you just came up on my YouTube feed, I was just like, what the hell did I just watch? It just pretty much, I was, I kind of got depressed. I'm not going to lie. And I got very sad. And that's just what appeared, you know what I mean? Because as I began to watch your videos, I began to realize that there is a place, at least within our how we're operating within this duality of morality and laws. But I thought you had to operate according to everything's okay and whole and complete. And I came to the realization, the intuitive realization, that we need to operate with these preferences. But even though these standards and goals are illusions, beyond our mind, beyond these belief systems, I really realized that whatever was arising, and that we don't necessarily need to act in accordance with actually no, let me take that back for a second. We don't necessarily need to act in alignment with the philosophy that everything's whole and complete, right? Even though everything is whole and complete, right? And
right.
Realize that there is no such thing as good, there is no such thing as bad. Everything really is just being, everything is just neutrality, but there still is a place where there is a seeker, right? But I think it's just a realization rather than something that you actually live your life by. And that's I think when a lot of people get into non-duality, even though it's not a philosophy, it's not a teaching like you always say, but I think a lot of people get caught in that trap and they can get into that kind of depressive state that I was in, you know what I mean? Even though it's all whole and complete, So
yeah. Well, I mean, depression can arise too of just when belief systems are being strong. Like, oh shit, sure. What I was believing for so long wasn't actually truth with a capital T. And what we're saying is morality and ethics and preferences and all those types of things obviously can appear. It's the need for morality, the need for ethics, the need for code is what drops. So if the character likes to pick up trash and bake goodies for their neighbor, that continues on because that's just innate to the character. Like a sloth moves slow and a cheetah runs fast. It's just innate to the character. Now some characters are assholes and those still appear.
Yeah.
And that's also oneness. And we don't have to like the assholes. That's the joy of this message is already there's no chooser or doer. So the innate personality or morality or code of ethics that seems to arise, it's just the mystery appearing as that. What drops is the need, the attachment, the codependency. Holy snaps.
Yeah, I just remember when I first had that realization, it was just, oh God, it was just this huge wave of emotion, but it also at the same time too, it was just those release of all belief systems, the elimination of the ego, just thinking thoughts are really bad. And don't get me wrong, like we're human beings, we don't like to suffer, like naturally, right? Like I have the natural goal in my life to reduce suffering, but I also recognize that within that whole illusional process, whatever you want to call it, belief system, at the same time, it's just an illusion, but we still have those goals, we still have those standards that we can have to live a preferable life. And it's like Ralph Smart, this self-growth type of YouTuber, he says that, like, and obviously this is just a phrase, it's just a belief system, I'm not saying it's like fact, but like he says, you know, we're like the masterpiece, but the work in progress at the same time. And I think that's like a great conceptual way of like saying that, you know, but once again, it's just like this unknowable mystery that we can't place a label on, concepts on, and it's truly beautiful, you know, because it breaks down all those belief systems and, you know, the like. So yeah,
totally, man, totally. I love it.
Beautiful. Yeah, how did you notice, like, when you first, because I remember before I watched some of your older videos, because I think you were very much into the same type of raise your vibration, right? Like very much into that. Like, so how was your transition similar, like when you came across non-duality, how was your like individual story of Anna transition from like spirituality Anna to like non-duality Anna? I know it's like it's all an illusion, right? But
no, I get you. Well, I gotta first say that when I was like 7 or 8, there was a spontaneous dropping of Anna in bed one night, and there was just the impersonal seer. So before the whole spiritual gambit arose and studying religion and all of that seemed to arise, where there was just a dropping of identity. I had no idea what the hell it was. I had no reference for that. And what seemed to come back in, well, was identity and seeking or attachment. Really, the energy of unworthiness is what arose here. So even when I was doing the spiritual path and studying religion and all of that, there was still something underneath that sniffed out bullshit and was like, something's off here. Like, this is really fun and enjoyable, and I love the community and stuff, but there was something always underneath going, something just is not quite right. Because when that dropping seemed to arise when I was 7 or 8, it was so natural, so simple, and I didn't have to work for it. It just seemed to arise. Yeah. But brother, there was just natural glimpses that arose on that. And you could just say there was a catalyst where I saw true colors in the spiritual community, the spiritual leader, and I just didn't want anything to do with it. It was just the true colors came out of hierarchy and like what we could call you know, just that whole hierarchy thing. I'm better than you because my vibration's higher. Exactly. I'm in the fifth dimension or whatever it is. And so you could just say it was like the whole Jenga fell down, the whole tower collapsed. So it was extremely painful. I'm not going to lie, but yeah.
Wow. I mean,
no choice. There was no choice in that at all. Wow. Any of it. There was no choice.
I think too, like a big thing for me right now is, just realizing that I have no control, you know what I mean? And realizing that there is no will. And like for the seeker, for the mind, my mind-made self, that's very hard to accept. And I'm trying to, like, naturally, my mind is trying to intellectually understand that and rationalize that when you really can't, you know,
there's just movement, but there's happening and there's apparent choices. It's all just
this.
All right. Yeah. It's amazing. Like, how this conversation is so seamless, and yet there's no one inside the body choosing the words or how it's weaving together. You know what I mean? It's interesting. Yeah, it's all responses. There isn't a person choosing this already, though. There is no me. There is no separate doer. This is just isness. Yeah.
So here, I'll ask one last question because I know other people want to talk.
Go for
it. I apologize for talking for so long.
No, you're good. You're good.
So within your daily life now, like, when you made that transition from spirituality, like kind of like, you know, before you made that, like the identity completely fell and, you know, really you came across non-duality and made that intuitive realization, like the apparent awakening that you know in your videos, even though there really is no awakening, we're always awake, you know. Do you still practice? I mean, I'm not sure because I wasn't in your life before, but like, do you still practice things like meditation daily or like any type of things like, or did you just stop? Like, did you make a change in your life?
There's still practices yoga, but it's not to reach anything. So the philosophies, the whole needing to set intentions and the chakra stuff, all that fell away, but there's still the movement because it feels delicious on the body. It's just wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yes. So those things fell away, but I mean, I mean, if you're an athlete, that still continues on. It depends on why you were doing those things. Was it to get something? You know what I mean? Or was it just, does it feel amazing and inspired?
Yeah. So you just kind of do it in itself, like for its own sake, kind of like.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just like
okay.
lifing. I mean, it's really just
Like,
ordinary.
yeah,
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 but
yeah.
going on walks, hikes, all of that arises here. Exercising, yoga, singing, dancing. Yeah, it arises. It's not because I have to do it. It's just inspired.
Yep.
Yeah.
True. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Great talking to you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you too, man. Good to see you. Take
Good to
care.
see you. Take care.